Most Porsche owners spend hundreds of dollars every year paying shops to clean parts they could have done themselves in minutes. And it gets worse, because they also ignore the handful of components that quietly destroy engines when they're left dirty. And on a Porsche, that isn't a figure of speech. The most expensive engine failure these cars suffer has a name, and one of the things on this list feeds it directly. Today we're counting down the 8 Porsche parts you should be cleaning about every 10,000 miles to avoid those expensive repairs. Some take 5 minutes and a can of spray. One of them is a free 60-second test that catches the failure behind that engine damage before it starts. And the number one on this list could save your life. We start all the way up at number 8, your throttle body. Number 8, the throttle body. Think of the throttle body as the gatekeeper for all the air going into your engine. When you press the accelerator, a flap inside called the butterfly valve swings open and lets air rush in to mix with your fuel. Over time, oily vapor drifts back through the intake from the crankcase, mixes with fine dust, and bakes onto that flap and the bore around it as a sticky brown ridge. As it builds, the flap can't seat properly, airflow gets choked, and the computer starts compensating by holding the plate further open just to hit its target. That's when your 911, Boxster, Cayman, or Macan starts idling unevenly, hesitating on a cold start, and feeling flat and lazy in the 2,000 to 3,000 RPM range where you spend most of your driving life. And that's the frustrating part, because none of it is dramatic enough to feel like a fault. The car just gradually becomes less sharp, and owners adapt to it without ever registering that something changed. Here's where the money gets silly. A dealer charges $150 to $200 for the cleaning service, and the entire procedure is a technician spraying cleaner into the bore and wiping it with a rag. That's it. An $8 can of throttle body cleaner does identical work in your own garage. One warning that genuinely matters. Your Porsche is drive-by-wire, so that plate is moved by a small motor rather than a cable, and forcing it open with your fingers wrecks the motor and turns a free job into a real bill. Spray it gently, let the cleaner soften the deposits, and wipe rather than scrub. And afterward, the computer generally wants a throttle adaptation, so it relearns where the clean plate actually sits, which a decent diagnostic tool handles in seconds. Skip that, and the idle can hunt for a day or two while it works it out on its own. That one saves you a fortune. But the next part comes wrapped in a myth even good mechanics still repeat, and believing it can cost you an engine. Number 7, the engine air filter. Number 7 is your engine air filter, and it comes with a lie attached. You've heard it 100 times. A dirty air filter kills your fuel economy, so change it to save money. It sounds about right, and on a modern Porsche, it's dead wrong. The Department of Energy paid Oak Ridge National Laboratory to test this on real engines, and they found that on modern fuel-injected cars, a clogged air filter has essentially no effect on miles per gallon, because the computer simply trims the fuel to match the air coming in. So why bother at all? 2 reasons, and both matter far more than fuel. First, a dirty filter absolutely does steal your throttle response, so the car feels flat and lazy exactly where you notice it most. Second, and this is the one that ends engines, that filter is the only thing between fine grit and the inside of a very expensive motor. Let it clog until it overflows, let the edge seal deform, or let it tear, and that grit gets pulled straight past it, where it scores cylinder walls and chews turbo or supercharger internals. Here's the Porsche-specific point though. Most of these cars do low annual mileage in fairly clean conditions, which means a lot of owners are binning filters that had most of their life left, purely because a mileage number came up. Meanwhile, a car that lives near the coast or gets driven on gravel can need attention far sooner than the schedule suggests. The interval is a guess, written to cover an average case, and a Porsche is rarely the average case in either direction. So inspect rather than assume. Pull it, hold it to sunlight, and look through the pleats. If light comes through, it's still flowing air, and you can blow it out with compressed air from the clean side outward, pushing debris back the way it came rather than driving it deeper into the media. But know when to stop, because dark packed pleats or a deformed edge seal means replace it. Good filtration genuinely shows up in an engine oil analysis, so this cheap little part is protecting the single most expensive thing you own. That protects your engine. The next one is even simpler, and it's the reason so many Porsches get towed for no clear reason at all. Number 6. the battery terminals. Number 6 is sitting right on top of your battery, and hardly anyone thinks to check it. Look at the terminals. If you see crusty white, blue, or greenish powder creeping around them, that's corrosion, and it's quietly strangling the power coming out of your battery. Now here's why this matters more on a Porsche than on almost anything else you could own. These cars are full of control modules, and every sensor reports its readings against the same ground network running through those terminals. Dirty connections create small voltage offsets in that reference, which means perfectly healthy sensors start feeding the computer's nonsense, and you end up chasing a phantom fault that was never real. Anyone who has been down a Porsche diagnostic rabbit hole knows how expensive that gets, and how often the answer turns out to be something that cost nothing to fix. And there's a second consequence that connects to the whole list. A weak or corroded connection gives you a long, slow crank, and a long crank dumps unburned fuel into the cylinders and washes the oil film off the bores, which is the exact mechanism behind the most expensive damage these engines suffer. Disconnect the negative first. Scrub the posts and clamps with baking soda and warm water on an old toothbrush. Rinse, dry, coat with dielectric grease, and reconnect snugly. A shop charges $60 for that. Check the main ground strap while you're down there, because a corroded ground causes identical symptoms and gets blamed on everything else. And because most Porsches sit for weeks at a time rather than being driven daily, put it on a proper battery maintainer. That single accessory solves half the problems in this entry by itself, because a healthy battery means a short, strong crank instead of a long, weak one. That fix costs pennies. The next one is a free 60-second test that catches the failure behind the most expensive damage in the Porsche world. If you found this interesting, feel free to check out my ebook in the description or scan the QR code on the right. And don't forget to subscribe. Number 5. The Crankcase breather and oil separator. Number 5 is your air oil separator and the plastic breather tubes that go with it, and this is the most important item on the list that nobody talks about. Your engine constantly produces blow-by, which is pressure and gases slipping past the piston rings into the crankcase. The separator's job is to pull that pressure out, drain the oil back down, and route the vapor up to be burned. Here's what happens when the diaphragm fails or the brittle plastic tubes crack. You get a vacuum leak. That vacuum leak makes the engine computer overfuel, and chronic overfueling means chronic fuel wash, which is raw fuel stripping the oil film off your cylinder walls on every single drive.
And the specialists who rebuild these engines name fuel wash directly as a contributor to cylinder bore scoring, which is the failure that ends water-cooled Porsche engines. So a cheap plastic tube starts a chain that finishes with a scored block. Here's the free test. With the engine idling, slowly twist off the oil filler cap. If the idle changes hard or the engine tries to stall, crankcase vacuum is out of specification, and this system is your suspect. The classic symptoms are smoke on startup, oil consumption with no visible leak, a rough idle, and a whistle or hiss from the engine bay. Any one of those on its own is worth investigating rather than living with, because unlike most faults, this one gets worse in a way you can't see. Treat these as scheduled replacement parts rather than sealed components, and replace the whole set together, because the tubes are the same age and the same plastic, and replacing one at a time just means doing the job twice. A shop can confirm crankcase pressure properly with a manometer, and a healthy engine reads only a few inches of water column. There are also upgraded separator units built specifically to address the weakness in the factory design, and specialists fit them as a matter of course on any engine they're rebuilding. Whichever route you take, this is the cheapest possible insurance against the most expensive possible outcome. Want every Porsche interval and real cost on one page? Scan the QR on screen. Now, back to number 4. Number 4. The cabin air filter. Number 4 hides behind your glove box, and what surprises people is what's actually sitting in that tray. Plenty of Porsches are driving around with a filter so packed with debris it's turned into a solid gray brick, and a lot of owners have never touched it once because it's out of sight and nobody mentions it at a service. If yours is clogged, every mile you're pulling road dust, pollen, and the exhaust of the car in front straight into your face. You'll notice it as a musty, damp smell the moment the fan comes on,
windows that fog up and refuse to clear, and vents that barely push air with the blower on maximum. Here's the one that costs real money. A lot of owners decide their air conditioning is failing and start pricing out compressor work, when the actual problem is a filter choked so solid that almost no air can get through. The job takes about 10 minutes and no real tools. Drop the glove box past its side stops, slide the old filter out of its tray. Note the airflow arrow on the frame so the new one goes in the right way, and slide a fresh one in. A shop charges $70 to $90 for the same 10 minutes. And if a fresh filter doesn't fix a persistent damp smell, that's water getting in where it shouldn't, which is a problem we come back to at number 2. On some models, the filter comes out in 2 pieces, so don't panic if the first half doesn't clear the opening cleanly. You just work them out one at a time. And if you park in a city or sit in traffic, an activated carbon version kills odors as well as catching dust, which is worth the few extra dollars on a car with an interior this nice. Breathing clean air is nice, but this next part is where nearly every Porsche cleaning video gets it wrong. Number 3, the MAF sensor. Number 3 is the sensor everybody cleans wrong, your mass airflow sensor. It sits in the intake tube just after the airbox, and its job is to measure exactly how much air is entering the engine so the computer can match fuel and, on the turbocharged cars, boost. Inside that housing is a hot film element finer than a human hair. Over time, dust and oil mist coat it, its resistance drifts, and it starts reading low. Your engine then runs rich, and you get hesitation, poor economy, a limp mode power cut, and often a P0101 code. Here's what makes it worse and why it's on a cleaning list rather than a repair list. A dirty sensor throws no warning light at all. Because it's still functioning, it's just wrong, which makes it one of the most common causes of a Porsche that feels flat without any obvious fault. Dealers replace it, and that's a several $100 part, but you can only clean it one specific way. Use a dedicated MAF sensor cleaner, spray it onto the element from a distance, and let it drip dry. And never touch that element with a rag or a cotton swab. And never use brake cleaner or carb cleaner, which is exactly how people destroy a perfectly good sensor. Let it dry 10 full minutes before it sees power. And if you run an oiled aftermarket cotton filter, that oil coats the element, so this becomes a regular job rather than a one-time fix. Here's a free field test before you spend anything at all. If the engine actually runs better with the MAF unplugged, that sensor is feeding the computer bad data, and it's either dirty or on its way out. Because with it disconnected, the computer falls back to a default map rather than trusting a liar. That takes 2 minutes and tells you whether you're cleaning or replacing. That's one small sensor. But the next job is the biggest of them all, and on a Porsche, it protects the engine itself. Number 2, the radiators and the drains. Number 2 is the front of your Porsche, and this is the item owners forget the most. The radiators on a 911, Boxster, or Cayman sit low in the front bumper corners behind open grills, and they work like nets. Leaves, pine needles, road grit, and general debris pack into the gap between the radiator and the condenser and simply stay there for years out of sight. 2 things happen once that pack's solid. Airflow through the core drops, so coolant temperature climbs and the fans run constantly. And that trapped debris holds moisture against aluminum, so the radiator corrodes from the outside in, which is why so many owners discover a leaking radiator that looks perfectly fine from the front. Here's why it matters more on a Porsche than on a normal car. These engines are genuinely sensitive to localized overheating, and specialists connect that directly to cracked heads and cylinder damage. Restricting your own cooling capacity for free is a terrible trade on a car this sensitive to heat. Pull the bumper cover, physically clean them out, and fit protective screens behind the grills so it stops happening again. Specialists do exactly this anytime the front of the car is a part for something else, precisely because they know what's in there. Your dealer won't suggest it because there's no labor operation in the system for removing leaves from a radiator. But here's the sneakiest one, and it's pure Porsche. Your car has hidden drain tubes at the corners of a convertible top or in the cowl and sunroof channels on the coupes, and they clog with the same leaves and grime. When they block, the water goes inside instead. Owners report flooded footwells, water sitting behind the seats, And in one documented case, a brake vacuum booster destroyed after a plugged drain let its compartment fill with water. Pour a little water into each drain and confirm it runs straight out underneath the car. If it doesn't, clear the tube gently with a length of weed trimmer line and flush it through from the top. Do it every spring and every autumn, and especially if you park under trees, because on a mid-engined car in particular, there are expensive modules sitting low down exactly where that water collects. It's 15 minutes and it costs nothing. And it's the difference between a wet carpet you catch early and an interior strip-out you didn't budget for. All of that keeps your Porsche alive. This last one keeps you alive because when it fails, people get hurt. Number 1. The brake caliper slide pins. And that brings us to number 1. Your brake caliper slide pins.
On the calipers that use them, these little pins let the caliper slide back and forth so it can squeeze the pads evenly against the disc every single time you brake. From the factory, they're packed in grease and sealed inside rubber boots to stay slick. But road salt, brake dust, and water slowly wash that grease out and let rust creep in. And it's usually the rears that seize first because they see less heat and less work to keep them moving. Here's exactly what happens when one seizes. The caliper can't slide, so one pad jams against the disc and wears down to the bare backing plate, while the pad on the other side barely touches. The car starts pulling to one side under braking. You hear a chirp or a clunk, and the pad that's permanently dragging builds constant heat that warps the disc into a shudder you feel through the wheel. Let it go, and the caliper locks up solid. And now you're buying a replacement caliper, which on a Porsche is not a cheap part. Do this once a year, and after any winter of road salt, giving the rear pins the most attention, because they're the ones that seize while you're not looking. Pull the caliper off with 2 bolts, wipe the pins with brake cleaner and a wire brush until they're bright metal, and coat them in fresh brake grease that costs about $19 a bottle. One tip from people who drive salty winters: use a silicone-based caliper grease, because ordinary grease washes out and dries up, while silicone stays put and shrugs off water. And if those little rubber boots are torn, replace them for a couple of dollars, because a split boot is exactly what let the water in to begin with. One real warning on the newer cars: rear calipers with the electronic parking brake have to be put into service mode with a diagnostic tool before you take them apart, so read up on your specific model first. Get this one right, and you'll never have to wonder whether your Porsche is going to stop when you really need it to. And that's the thread running through all 8 of these. Not one is difficult, none requires special training, and together they cost less than a single dealer visit. What they share is that they're all the cheap end of a chain, and on a Porsche, every one of those chains ends somewhere genuinely expensive. Clean them on a rhythm instead of waiting for a warning light, and the car that has a reputation for terrifying bills quietly becomes the one that just keeps working.